we have to get to SDRs. Have you heard about SDRs before?
I have, yeah. I mean, I made a video about the IMF and I looked into it for that video. And SDRs are it's kind of an interesting name because really what it seems that SDRs are is it's almost the currency of the IMF, which is just a basket of other currencies sort of standardized into single units. It's an interesting concept.
Yeah, exactly. So it stands for special drawing rights. And as far as I know, it was sort of invented later at something called the Rio Agreements. So in Rio de Janeiro, I guess, in 1967. And this is sort of in a bit of an ironic twist when Keynes got his way, when the IMF did become like a bank because it then could create currency, namely SDRs. However, weirdly enough, if you go to the IMF website or something and look at their balance sheet, they aren't there. There are some SDRs that it holds, but not on its liability side, which is what you would expect from a bank. Like, for example, your Federal Reserve creates dollars, right? They are on the liability side of the Federal Reserve. But the SDRs are not on the liability side of the IMF, which I was actually a bit surprised by. But the sneaky trick that they're pulling is they're saying, these are not claims on the IMF. These are claims on the currencies of the members of the IMF. And supposedly they can sort of trade these for actual real world currencies like the dollar, yen, Chinese renminbi, but it's voluntary.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting workaround.
Yeah,
Sure.
It's a bit sneaky. They are. I mean, to be honest, I think that should just be on the balance sheet of the IMF because they say, well, it's not a claim of the IMF, but dollars from the Federal Reserve. You can't do anything with them at the Federal Reserve either, right? You can't exchange them for gold or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of odd, for sure.
So I think that's just a bit of the technical details. But then, so that's when sort of the IMF did become a bank in a way, and it could create money. And that's what the SDRs came in. And that gave the IMF a lot more flexibility to step in as a lender of last resort.